Hello. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Today is Monday, June 29th, 2020. Before I start my video, I just want to give a special shout out to my grandfather who turned 100 years old today. We celebrated his birthday with a very small gathering and a happy birthday car parade yesterday. So I want to thank my family and all the neighbors who came out to support my grandfather's 100th birthday celebration yesterday. Today, I want to discuss with you the Harris County COVID-19 threat level system and what that means to you, and what level we're at and what that means. So, this is an important topic that I get many questions about in terms of the legalities of what's going on and the interplay between federal, state, and local governments in what rules we should be following. Stay tuned for an update on the local situation regarding how Harris County is handling the COVID-19 situation. My name is Benjamin Sanchez. I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas. I represent consumers, tenants, and homeowners in everyday disputes to help them move forward. Thank you for watching another edition of Coffee with Law. So let's talk about this COVID-19 issue in terms of how a hotspot is handling this. So for those of you who live in and around Houston and Harris County, this is going to be very particular to you. However, for those around the state and around the country, you need to know how a particular hotspot, how governments are handling the situation in a hotspot. And unfortunately, in Houston, Texas, we are a hotspot of COVID activity at this point. We are one of the highest rising cases. We are home to the Texas Medical Center that has basically filled up its ICU beds. The Texas Children's Medical Hospital has now accepting adults as patients. So this is quite unique. On Friday, June 26th, our local Harris County Judge Lina Hidalgo, raised the threat level to red. Now, what does this mean in practical terms, and what is this threat level system? I'm going to share a screen with you at this point and have you look at this. If you go to readyharris.org, you will come up to, let me do this. You'll come up to this website, and this is the Harris County Local Government 2019 Novel Coronavirus Hub. And here you will be able to see all the different information that Harris County as a government is providing people and resources that it's providing. Now, this threat level system was developed on June 11th, 2020. Okay? And we'll get back to this in a moment. The threat level was developed on June 11th, 2020 by the local government. Part of the reason it was developed was because Harris County at one point was issuing mandates and orders that were requiring certain things of people located within its jurisdiction. The Texas governor decided that he didn't want all of these local municipalities deciding their own rules about how to handle their situations. So basically, at some point, the Texas governor said, you as a local municipality or local government don't have the authority to override what the state of Texas does, because you are basically a subset of the state of Texas. So what happened at that point was that the state of Texas started issuing orders through the governor and executive orders and started saying, this is what is going to control as far as your jurisdiction. Harris County then responded by stating, well, if we have to abide by the state of Texas orders and the governor's orders and we can't do our own, we at least want to have some sort of system that warns our citizens and our residents, our constituents of what's going on. So they developed this color-coded system, and it's called the Harris County COVID-19 Threat Level System. Okay, and there are actually 4 different levels. If you go to readyharris.org and you go to the top here, you will see that right now we are in level 1, a code red. And if you click on this thing, you will see that you get to see the different colors here and exactly what they mean. So level 1 is red, level 2 is orange, level 3 is yellow, and level 4 is green. Quite frankly, because of the numbers that we're seeing, we are not going to see level 4 for quite a while. And we will be lucky, I think, to see level 3 anytime this year. I'm not here to discuss the politics of the situation. I'm not here to discuss whether or not things are right or wrong regarding masks. This is a public health issue. This is a public safety issue. And so I'm simply letting you know what the local government is doing in response to COVID-19. So currently, we are at level 1. Now, level 1 technically is stay home, work safe. That's technically what that level 1 means, or that's what it stands for. So what does that mean? That means that people should be staying home except for essential needs, essential work, and basically outdoor exercise. What are essential needs? Well, essential needs, according to various government orders and opinions, are basically groceries, gas for like your car, medicine, prescriptions. Okay, those are basically the essential needs. So anything else, the government doesn't really think it's that essential. Furthermore, there's essential work. Now, in Texas, and I think throughout the nation, we've heard the term essential worker. Okay, and there's been a lot of fighting about whether or not someone is truly essential when they are deemed an essential worker. In Harris County, though, they're not saying essential workers are exempt. What they're saying is essential work. So that means that even if you are an essential worker, to the extent that your work is not necessary to be done outside of the home, then you should not be leaving the home if at all possible. So, for example, I'm an attorney, and attorneys in the court system are deemed essential workers. But that doesn't mean that all the attorneys are running down to the courthouse and that we're going to have jury trials anytime soon and that everything is hunky-dory just because we're essential workers. If we can do things without going to the courthouse, then what level 1 says is that's what we should be doing. If we can do things without meeting clients in person, if we can handle a deposition without doing it in person, if we can handle a mediation without doing it in person, then that's what we should be doing. We should be doing everything remotely and virtually, if at all possible, especially here in Harris County, given the level 1 system. Okay, so that's what essential work means as opposed to essential workers. The other thing that we can get out of the house for is outdoor exercise. Now, I'm a big proponent of outdoor exercise, but I also recognize that COVID-19 does exist out in those parks, and so you still need to exercise social distancing. You probably not to need to be walking in a whole lot of with a whole lot of other people or groups of other people. Quite frankly, I have switched from walking these days to riding my bike and riding my bike alone instead of a group. And so therefore I still get my exercise without doing the walking. So that's what level 1 means at this point. We get back here. You will see there's a slight description of what level 1 means in terms of stay home. For those of you around the country and who are having problems and fighting between your local government and your state government, this is potentially a good system to at least adopt to make your constituents and your citizens aware of what kind of threat level you face, because not every location has the same threat level. Houston, unfortunately, we are at level 1, and we do have a lot of problems with our hospital beds and things like that at this point. Okay. So the other thing is this. One other thing I want to get into is the interplay of Texas government orders, state orders, versus local orders. As I told you before, at some point in the past, in February, March, and April, the local governments were issuing their own mandates and their own orders until the Texas governor stepped in and said, no, you can't do that. You have to abide by what I say and what the state of Texas says in terms of our orders. So that's why the local judge here cannot issue actual orders that override what the state of Texas is doing. So in order to know at any one point what orders apply to you wherever you're at, you have to look at both the state of Texas orders and your local government orders. And that's where in Texas, this website comes in handy. If you go to dshs.texas.gov, okay, that's the Texas Health and Human Services Department, you'll find the link for the COVID-19 home. Okay, within that, you will then find a page that lists all of the Texas executive orders and the Texas Public Health Disaster Declaration. And if you go down this list, you will see that we're up to 28 executive orders since COVID has started by the Texas Governor's Office. Okay, so we're at 28. And just because a new order comes out doesn't mean that an old order is no longer in place. You have to actually read the various orders to determine which is in place and which isn't. And also, some of the executive orders apply to certain localities and some don't. So, for example, if you look at the June 25th, 2020 order, which is 27, you will see that the governor suspended elective surgeries and procedures at hospitals, but only in 4 counties: in Bear, which is in San Antonio, Dallas, Harris, which is Houston, and Travis, which is Austin. Okay, so you will see that, and that necessarily may not be mentioned in the latest executive order, which is 28, which came out on Friday. Okay, and on Friday, even though this little blurb says it's going to limit certain businesses and services in order to contain the spread, when you actually click on this order, you will see it's not so simple. So you will go through here and you will see that there is a lot of whereas language. And quite frankly, the whereas language is basically the reasoning that the government uses to issue the order that it's about to tell you about. Okay, so when you look at the whereas language in these orders, it's going to tell you what's happened so far or what's important, what you need to know about why the government is going to be issuing the orders. So you see all of these whereas clauses, and then you get to now, therefore, I, Greg Abbott, and he tells you what those orders are. And so if you look at this, the number of orders that he's actually putting in place is actually not just as simple as that one line summary statement. So for those of you who are thinking, well, this order just says this, or the order just says that, um, you need to really look at the orders because they're actually more detailed. And quite frankly, even your local news story is not going to go on TV, is not going to go into depth about exactly what all of the ins and outs of each order are. So this is the latest order that was done on Friday. And you can see that even though some points were made on local newscasts about what that order means, the order itself is quite long. There's 17 different points under this order, right? Everything from school in point 17 to tubing and rafting to indoor, outdoor facilities to all sorts of things, okay? There's been a special thing made about the number of 100 and what that means. Okay, well, you have to go to another order to figure that out. So if you go to order number 26, which was done on June 23rd, you'll see that there's this special issue regarding 100 people. And basically, the governor is saying, I'm giving the discretion of to local mayors and judges about what to do in terms of restricting outdoor gatherings to be in excess of 100 people, other than certain exemptions that the governor has applied. Okay, and then it's up to the local government to decide whether or not they're going to go ahead and do that restriction. On Friday, Lina Hidalgo said she is going to exercise any restriction that she can at this point that's given to her by the governor. And so in Houston, we do not have, except for those exempted categories, we are not allowed to have outdoor gatherings of more than 100 people. Okay. I can go into a lot more detail about this, and I probably will in the coming days ahead. But for now, just note that if you want to know more about the Harris County COVID-19 threat level system, go to readyharris.org, and that will tell you all the different things that you need to know. And if you ever want to know what level we're at, you just go to the top of this page and it'll be there. If you want more information about the state orders, you need to go to the Texas Health and Human Services website, which is dshs.texas.gov. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Understand we're at level 1, and only essential needs, essential work, and outdoor exercise are the major categories that are allowed to go out. And quite frankly, again, Judge Hidalgo cannot mandate this because the state of Texas is taking it over. So her her mandates are really just strong urging, and it's really the state of Texas who's controlling more of what is allowed and not allowed. But in Harris County, we're at level 1. We're urged to stay home and work safe. I hope this has been helpful. Have a great day. Again, this is Benjamin Sanchez, local attorney in Houston, Texas. If you have any questions, go and put them in the comments and I'll get back to you on those. I'm also going to put the links to the two websites that I discussed today in the comments. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.